Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So in this one, we have another location deck overview. This one is for today's hot location, Kamar Taj. This one doubles up on all your on-reveal effects. So let's take a look at the decks we have here. Starting off with Pool 1, we have a pretty simple on-reveal deck featuring Odin, of course, as he gets a ton of value from this location, and pretty much just jamming in all the different good on-reveal cards. There's a good chance we can figure out where they're going with Star-Lord, since a lot of other people will be playing on-reveal decks, so you might know they're going to go for the hot location. Makes him proc more regularly, can get you some bonus Sentinels. Ironheart doubling up, spreading the power across the board. Korg for a little bit of disruption. Wolfsbane goes pretty tall, especially if we're going to be already filling up the Kamar Taj lane. White Queen for a bit of additional value and just being a good 4-drop. White Tiger to fight for other spots on the board. Spider Woman to help us win the hot location. And then Odin to double up on it. And then the last few cards we have here, just a good 1-drop in Nightcrawler, who has good synergy with our good 2-drop here in Angela, and Mr. Fantastic just to help spread the power around. Next up, moving on into Pool 2 here, we have some upgrades. Probably the best upgrade for this one is going to be Jubilee, adding a card from our deck to our location, so we get 2 cards if we're doing it on Kamar Taj. And Jubilee also enables a really nice Odin high roll, where if she pulls Odin out of the deck, she'll re-trigger herself, which is very useful. Other than that, we do just have a few other small additions in here from the Pool 1 version. So Scorpion really likes this location and can be worth a whole lot of power, inflicting your opponent with -2 power, which is really, really good. Iceman doubling up on the random cost increase. And Storm just for locking down a lane, or we can even get rid of Kamar Taj if we've already used it before the opponent gets a chance at taking advantage of it. Other than that, we have the pretty much same core here. We do add America Chavez, though, for a little bit more consistency, and as another big thing that we can pull out of our Jubilee. Moving into Pool 3 and above, we have our ramp deck here. Opted to go with a Black Panther version of it, as it can be pretty fun using him and Shuri on the hot location. But if you want a bit more budget version, which does not utilize the 2 Pool 4 cards we have here, you can replace them with just pretty generically good cards that also have synergy. So maybe throw in a Spider-Woman or something like Shang-Chi to help deal with big things. Professor X can also be a pretty good inclusion, as when you're ramping him out, a lot of people will not expect that coming in on turn 4. But other than that, it's a pretty standard ramp deck. We have Sunspot and Ebony Maw as our early game. Electro, Wave, and Jubilee act as our ramp pieces. Shuri can make something really, really big with the location, and optimally, we'd like to be doing this to Black Panther, who then we can copy up with our Aram Zola to get him into 2 different lanes. Sandman to limit what the opponent can play, because we don't really care about playing 1 card a turn. Arrow works especially well under the effects of a Wave or a Sandman. Doom for another high-value top-end piece, and then Odin to double up on our powerful on-reveal effects. Next up, we have a Mr. Negative deck. I actually featured this one yesterday as well for the hot location of Bar with No Name, but it works really well on this one too, and that's mainly because we have some very good on-reveal effects, such as Ironheart, Jubilee. We have Wong, who can even double up, which is really, really good with something like Ironheart or our White Tiger. So already a lot of good cards in here. Even the Psylocke isn't that bad with it, and it just benefits quite a bit from it. This is pretty much almost all Pool 3. The only not Pool 3 card here is a Darkhawk, who is definitely not core and can be replaced. I just think he's a good value target when he gets flipped over, but you could just opt to put in another decent on-reveal or just another good card that is powerful when flipped with the Mr. Negative effect. Next up here, we have a powerful Devil Dinosaur build. This is one I'm going to be showcasing in a video probably tomorrow. But it's a deck I've really liked, and I think it's kind of underrated right now. The main things we have that benefit from the location for this are our Dr. Doom, as well as our things that put rocks in the deck in Korg and Rock Slide, which both help us pump up our Darkhawk. And if you happen to be throwing all your stuff out of your hand rather quickly, we can fill our hand back up with things like Agent Coulson or Maria Hill. Maria Hill is a little bit of a flex spot. You could try a number of different cards in this spot. If you're looking to be a little bit more reactive, you could even put a Shang-Chi in this spot, but I found her to be pretty decent and kind of underrated. Then we have Mystique to copy our Dino or our Darkhawk, Sentinel to keep our hand big while we tempo cards out, and last but not least Cosmo, really important for protecting versus all the Shang-Chi and shutting down the hot location once we've gotten enough value, or if we're afraid the opponent might get too much value from it. Next up, we have a really cool Quake build. This one is a lot of fun and really good at kind of controlling the game. Quake is really nice because, especially if we have priority, we can shift up the lanes, so that way if the opponent's trying to take advantage of the hot location, they sometimes will not be able to. We also have ways of getting rid of it if it doesn't really benefit us, with things like Scarlet Witch and Storm, and Shuri as well, which is really, really good with the hot location, and we're usually using her to buff up our big threats like Captain Marvel or She-Hulk. And then we also have Doctor Doom, who is obviously really good with the location as well, especially when we're closing down lanes with Storm. Then for our early game, we have Sunspot and Zabu, both really, really powerful cards. Lizard is really good with the Storm lane shenanigans, and then a bit of control with Shang-Chi and Enchantress. And then the last deck we have here is Shuri. Really not a whole lot to say about this one. It's not that there are a ton of card effects in the deck that actually benefit from Kamar Taj, but you really only need one card to benefit from it in this deck, and that is Shuri. Shuri is already a absolutely ridiculous powerhouse in her ability to double up stats on big creatures such as our Red Skull, She-Hulk, Vision, etc. So the fact that we can just slam Shuri into Kamar Taj and we can get essentially an extra double up makes her even more absurd. We can also take advantage of having Cosmo here to shut down decks trying to take advantage of the location, or just fill up their lane ahead of when they expect with our Polaris. Those are all the decks we have here for the Kamar Taj hot location. If you want to try any of these out, links will be in the description where you can import the deck. That is going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.